FNC, America's Black News Channel. Watch 15 minutes. Share with everyone. Finally, news that speaks to us.
Poland has taken, in just a very short period of time, in excess of 1.5 million refugees in from Ukraine. And that has put an extraordinary burden on Poland and the people of Poland. And so we will continue with the support that we can give you, Mr. President, in terms of the work that you and the people of Poland have been doing to bear this burden, but in a way that really has been with such grace and such generosity. We also are pleased to have shared with the President what our United States Congress has done, which is there is a commitment now of $13.6 billion in humanitarian and security assistance that will be then distributed and shared with Ukraine and the people of this region and Europe. All again, understanding that this moment in time requires both a humanitarian response as well as security assistance. And today, I'm also pleased to say that we are in ongoing discussions with Poland and our allies about the effectiveness of sanctions thus far and going forward. As we have announced in the United States, we have, through the United States Department of Justice, started a task force to do what is required and necessary and appropriate in terms of investigations as it relates to any criminal activities and behaviors on behalf of institutions and individuals, including oligarchs. We talked, the President and I, about the effectiveness of the sanctions we've seen thus far in terms of the courage and the bold action that has been taken through the NATO alliance to do what is necessary to send a clear signal that there will be, as we promised, severe cost and consequence for Russia's aggression, to the point that we have now seen a free fall of the ruble, to the point that we have now seen that Russia's credit rating has been rated as junk, and what we know to be real economic consequence to Russia because of Putin's war. As you know, the President of the United States also made the decision to do what was necessary in terms of the purchase of Russian oil in the United States. Again, we will continue to focus on this issue, keeping in mind that this is a moment that requires severe and swift consequence for Russia's aggression against Ukraine. And I'll close by saying what we say every day for these last weeks, which is we stand with the people of Ukraine, that we admire their courage, and that we are aligned in our support of their sovereignty and territorial integrity. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mamy czas na pytania dziennikarskie. Proszę o zadanie pytania panią Jacqueline Skowrońską z TVP.
Madam Jacqueline Skowrońska from the Polish television. My name is Jacqueline Skowrońska.
And you just heard live from Vice President Kamala Harris. She's at a meeting with Eastern European leaders in Poland, and she spoke about the U.S.'s commitment to Article 5. That means that the U.S. is prepared to defend every inch of NATO territory, she says. She also just shared with us that the U.S. will provide about $50 billion in humanitarian assistance, and talked about the moral outrage that we feel as we watch people fleeing the only home they've ever known. And she mentioned that they're also going to regroup and reevaluate the effectiveness of these sanctions so far. And Mike, I think that's really important at this point. I just don't know if taking an oligarch's yacht, you know, taking a rich guy's yacht is really doing the job at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to defend every inch of NATO territory because we're part of NATO. It's ironic because part of the reason that Russia is saying that they invade Ukraine is because Ukraine wants to be a part of NATO. Ukraine's not part of NATO, so that's why one of the reasons why you don't have troops on the ground, you don't have no-fly zones, you don't have any of those things right now that's going on in Ukraine, something that might be desperately needed. And you're right. I don't know if it's going to be enough. I don't think anything is going to be enough. I don't think Putin is hurt himself. for any of these sanctions when it comes to the economy, the ruble over in Russia right now. You think he's suffering? You think right now his bottom line, you think he's not living the same life he used to live? Putin is going to stop at nothing to get done what he wants to get done. You know, Naj, you know the most dangerous kind of person on the face of this earth is? You know what that is? A person who really doesn't give a you-know-what.
Yeah, you're exactly
Vladimir
right.
Putin doesn't care. Vladimir Putin gives no you-know-whats right now. He doesn't. He is set, dead set on this mission getting done by any means necessary. And I hate to even quote Malcolm X in this situation right here because he is nothing like Malcolm X. He is a madman. He is Adolf Hitler when it comes down to it. When it's the bottom line. When you're talking about bombing civilians, war crimes, you're talking about bombing hospitals, children's hospitals, maternity wards, and places like that, where these women and children are trying to escape, leaving their homes, and they're trying to escape and get to safety, and he is bombing some of these routes. He is a war criminal, and he needs to be brought to justice. The problem is he doesn't care. He's almost daring the rest of the world. Do something about it. I dare you. Do something about it. Because I think he's at his wit's end. And I don't know, this is speculation. This is on my part. This is just my opinion here. But I think he's at his end where he's like, you know what? I'm going to get done what needs to get done. And I don't care if it kills me. I don't care if it's the last thing I do. But I'm going to see Russia have the glory it used to have back in the day. I'm going to make it great again, in a sense. Russia, the Russia he knew back in the day. And that includes, as a lot of people, a lot of leaders fear, using nuclear weapons.
Yeah,
Think about this. Do you think, and Zelensky, one more point, Zelensky's right about something. Do you think that he's going to stop, once they take over Ukraine, you think he's going to stop there?
Yeah.
I'm asking that question. You think he's going to stop there?
Absolutely not. I think it's extraordinarily concerning. We should all be really concerned that he continues to surround these nuclear plants. And hey, look, once a KGB agent, always a KGB agent. You know, we see him on the phone saying that, sure, I'll agree to a ceasefire, and at the same time continuing with bombings. And it's just horrific what we're seeing. And when we talk about blowing up hospitals, healthcare workers, maternity wards. Yeah, this reminds me of a Hitler of our times. So yes, I think that the sanctions are not as effective as we had hoped. We know that he has this war chest stocked away for a situation just like this. So his lifestyle hasn't changed at all. And if he's going down, I think that he's the type of leader who will absolutely bring everyone down with him.
Yeah, he doesn't care about his people. He doesn't care what they think. He is on a mission to complete whatever mission is in his mind. His world domination. I don't know what his health status is. I don't know if he's on his last leg. I don't know if this is his last hurrah. I don't know what it is. But Vladimir Putin is not going to stop until he's stopped. And I don't know how that's going to happen, but he needs to be stopped.
And there has been a lot of speculation and concern. You ask, what's going on with him, about his mental state of mind right now. People who have followed him closely, experts in the field, are saying that this is not the Putin that we once knew. So I think that's also extraordinarily concerning. But regardless, we're in the situation that we're in, and so we have to act accordingly. I understand 100%, and I think we all do. An eye for an eye leaves everyone blind. We don't want to escalate the situation to a point where we are thrust into a nuclear war. But sanctions don't appear to be doing what we had hoped that they would do. And so it is time now to take a new approach and figure out, how we can stop these atrocities. Because at the end of the day, as we're even hearing the president himself say of Ukraine, blood on all of our hands at this point if we just stand by and let this continue to happen.
Yeah, you just ask yourself what more can be done when it comes to the sanction standpoint. Something more needs to be done. I don't know if it's the Russian people themselves, because he doesn't care about them. And yeah, you don't have to be Dr. Phil to diagnose that this man is batshit. You know what? This man has lost it. He does not care. Once again, he is one of the most dangerous humans on the face of this earth. A human that just does not give a bottom line. We'll see where it ends. Hopefully it ends soon. and hopefully it ends with good results or favorable results for people on our side.